Good Lord, I was raised a Baptist preacher's kid in North Texas, and 5 generations deep, both sides of my family, and moved to Nashville 20 years ago. My dad and I have stayed just super, super close. And the song, wrote with a couple of buddies of mine, Ken Hart and Garrett Jacobs. We just, a year and a half ago, talking about our dads. And at the time, my dad was in a real bad way, kidney failure, and just had went downhill really fast. And the idea just came from, we're so busy that we tend to mute our phones a lot. And my dad calls and checks on me just about every day. And I'm in the middle of a session or whatever, and I hit mute. And, the idea was, at some point, what you are in the middle of usually isn't as important as actually picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" And so the genesis of it was literally, and there's stories for other days, but the three of us have very unique dad dynamics. I happen to be the one in the group that's super tight with mine and was in the middle of watching him decline very rapidly. And I don't know, the song fell out in about 25 minutes. And at the end of it, we all just kind of looked at each other and went, well, that's convicting. And I can honestly say now, the song being called Checking In, my dad checks in more than ever now. And now I'm really compelled to have to say hello because he has slung it around like a sword at this point. It's great.
All the people who can't hit the red button and say, no, not right now, I'm busy for you.
But I will tell you the stories over the last year and a half of where I released it just on social media, and then for King and Country and Lee Brice, the stories of people saying, wow, I called my dad, or wow, I went back and found all the voicemails my dad left me. I had a guy buddy of mine in a cigar shop the other night. He said he lost his dad 10 years ago, and he spent most of a week digging back through stuff to try to find the voicemails, and he found one. And he's sitting in a cigar shop crying and saying, I found one voicemail from my dad. He said, I'm so glad you got that song out there. So it really is just about what's important is just staying connected to the people that matter the most. And in our culture, it's distance, and it's busy, and it's chaotic. And at some point you plant your feet and go, no, I'm going to lean into what matters the most. And that's the relationships God has blessed us with. And family's messy. It doesn't matter. Pick up the dang phone. So
let's all slow down and listen in. Checking in.
Hey there, son, it's Dad again. I know you're busy, I'm just checking in. You can call me later if you get a chance. I don't want nothing else, just wondering how you've been. There's no telling how many times I've let that message play. He's been gone a while and it still feels like yesterday. I even call him back sometimes, wishing he'd pick up again. I got a lot more to say these days than I did back then. Hey, Dad, it's me checking in. I'm doing all right. Work's been a little hard, but don't worry, I told Mom I'd get by there later on. Cut the yard, the kids are good. You'd sure be proud. Yeah, I probably should let you go. I'm just missing you right now. There's no telling how many times I've let that message play. He's been gone a while and it still feels like yesterday. I even call him back sometimes, wishing he'd pick up again. I got a lot more to say these days than I did back then. Hey, Dad, it's me checking in. I'm just checking in. No telling how many times I've let that message play. He's been gone a while and it still feels like yesterday. I even call him back sometimes, wishing he'd pick up again. I got a lot more to say these days than I did back then. I've got a lot more to say these days than I did back then. Hey, Dad, it's me checking in. just checking in. Hey there, son, it's Dad again. I know you're busy, I'm just checking.